What you say? I said, what you say? I
know that song. What is that
don't know either.
song?
It's somebody would tell me, but I don't. It
Yeah,
just sticks in my head, and I always hear that beginning. It's just that part I hear.
It sounds like a band you showed me before. I couldn't guess the name.
I couldn't.
Couldn't even figure it out. Not even a little bit.
Balance.
Balance.
Hey,
What about balance?
how was your weekend?
That was my weekend.
No. Okay, we were all like yuck all weekend.
Yeah,
Everybody
pretty
had
much.
something. There was a
Everybody had something going on.
nobody felt like it was a joyous weekend.
I got kind of lucky because I think I was like the least sick
See, I'm
out of
constantly
everyone.
worried that that's because you're a day behind
But
or something. You know, Bentley's just getting sick today.
really,
So,
I thought he was sick yesterday.
No, he's finally thrown up.
Okay.
So we only throw. I mean, he hasn't thrown up a bunch. Yuck. And who wants to hear about throwing up?
Yeah.
Yeah. But beyond physical ailments,
I think I was dehydrated. But that was it.
well, we've been out of balance in general.
Yeah, I haven't been drinking as much water as I thought I was.
Yeah, I was even going beyond that to, you know what, shows and mornings and this and that. And, you know, and I was sick a day last week, and we've just been out of balance.
I was just
Out of balance. Balance is hard.
no,
You know, you look around, and I was thinking, man, how frayed we all look. And I don't just mean us here. I mean just in general, everybody looks a little frayed. And in my head, that's about being out of balance. Like there's so much worry that there isn't enough living.
Mhm.
So that's another balance
Mhm.
that we're consumed by things we have no control over.
I think the hard part of life is how to figure out a balance of how to handle things.
Yeah, no, that's kind of where I'm coming from.
That,
Yeah,
like, almost
that
every
frayed
almost
feeling is being out of balance.
almost every conversation I've ever had is like, well, there's this extreme, but there's also this extreme. So we gotta find somewhere in the middle that's like,
Well, that's kind of compromise.
well, not just compromise, but more like
The
like
middle path.
yeah, finding. Well, you don't want to be so stressed out about life that you can't do anything, but also you don't want to not take anything seriously. So you got to figure out how to take things seriously, but also have fun with it.
Or at least notice the joy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't cut yourself off from the idea that it doesn't. We were in, it was last week. We were in a class that we take together, and a woman pointed out that she felt bad for having such a great day with everything going on in the Ukraine. Excuse me. And I thought to myself, I don't think that's fair to you or the people in the Ukraine.
Mm.
That no, that you're not guilty because your day was good today. Just like they weren't guilty 2 months ago when they had a good day
Right.
because of what was going on in Yemen.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and you're better off spreading good days than deciding your days are bad because other people are having a bad day.
Yeah, I think so. I think that to have a good day, you have to try and enjoy it. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, try and enjoy it. It sometimes it can be hard to like keep yourself from weighing yourself down,
right,
but
right.
you gotta try and enjoy the
You
good
got to
days,
still
'cause they're
find
not gonna
some
always
joy.
they're not gonna always be there.
So I'm not gonna make bunkers. I never mind. Go on. I was gonna say something about even if you wake up with something in a bunker and somewhere, and you know what, you should still try and find some joy in your day. But I decided not to.
Oh my God. Okay. The sun came up.
But yeah, the sun came up. The hard, if all you're looking for is the crap, there's more than enough of it. You don't have to look far, and you can spend all of your time with it.
Right.
But if that's what everybody does,
Right.
how do you break that cycle?
Take the good days, but take the.
Well, are there, okay,
Well, I don't know. I don't know if you can even say take the bad days.
I don't think
bad,
of
but,
days as good or bad in the end.
No.
It's not the day that was doing something. Man, the sun came up. You know, I mean, the day did its part. You got another go at it. Don't blame the goddamn day. I've had this conversation with my 9-year-old that, dude, you can't blame the day. What the day do? The day did its part. Even on the days when it's gray out, that's because, flowers and whatnot. We need some rain and snow and some cycle.
Man, I'll be honest. The energy is like, I like the topic 100%, but I don't know where my energy is.
I never
don't
know
know
where
what's
your
going
energy
on.
goes.
I don't know what's
I
going
would, relative to the show, say you're way out of balance.
on. I am.
That there's a split second of up, and then there's like gone.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
But I think that's an out of balance thing.
It's like it like leaves my chest.
Well, it's finding a rhythm. So how do you hold on to it? If you feel it leaving your chest, how do you pull it back in?
I, I don't know. I like try to think of something like fun and exciting to talk about. Like it's a lot of the reason why a lot of times I pull the randomest things.
Why fun and exciting?
I don't know. Like
So you start putting a pressure on yourself, right?
yeah,
To come, as opposed to just be here and talk about what we're talking about, you start looking for something else.
yes, because it's like I don't know. I always feel myself losing steam. Or like I'll be in the middle of saying something.
Well, how do you
What
balance?
am I saying?
How do you balance that out?
How do I balance that out?
Yeah, sure.
I really don't.
We'll pick it apart a little bit.
I mean,
You got up earlier than normal today.
yeah, I did.
Didn't have a great night's sleep though.
No, it was.
That's normal. You rarely sleep, so
It was better than most nights, actually.
is part of it that there isn't any balance anywhere. And then you get here and you're like, well, why isn't this balanced? You follow me?
Yeah.
That like finding balance in your day to day, finding a rhythm. Need I say a schedule? Not that I'm good at it. I try.
Yeah.
So understand that those are things that I think of as ways that I would achieve more balance.
Right.
That part of it is figuring out. So, one of the other reasons the topic came up is, my significant other, Miss Sean, is having foot surgery.
Yeah.
In about a week, end of next week. Anyways, apropos of nothing other than following comment, so I don't know why I said that. We're gonna lay off the morning show concept for a minute. We're both excited about it, but we've had trouble finding a rhythm. We've had trouble finding balance. And with the idea that as opposed to continuously going, hey, we're going to, what we need to do is a little concentration here, and maybe add some stuff later in the day. As much as we'd love to share our morning, the reality is I'm going to have some other responsibilities during the day, and I think I can carve out this hour.
Right.
I mean, because, it takes me 15 minutes sometimes to find those pictures. I'm just saying. Well, maybe I could get ahead. The topic tomorrow is beware. We're a little ahead. Tomorrow is the Ides of March, for those of you who don't know.
I will say though, I think some of yesterday is still lingering. Like yesterday, I was like really out of it, and I was like, my stomach felt completely empty. I tried to eat some food, and it didn't really help. So then I started like drinking water, and it kind of helped. And then my head started hurting. It was a whole bunch of like
Nothing was
annoyances.
going right.
It was
Yeah.
annoyances more
Yeah, I
than
got
anything
you.
else. And then like it's weird because I don't feel right. I don't. It's not that I feel bad or anything, but it's just something
Off.
doesn't feel right. Yeah, it feels
Yeah,
off.
no, I think that was a lot of it. And
You
I'll
know.
be honest, when we missed on Wednesday, I felt awful.
Mm,
Yesterday, no, just endlessly vomit.
right.
Not like painfully,
Right.
not just like, just and you'd go back, but you couldn't figure out when to eat, and yeah, I had a headache on top of it all. I mean, but it was not as bad as Wednesday.
Yeah.
Was the funny thing was that that as much as I felt like crap yesterday, my memory of Wednesday where my stomach was just like a hard knot.
Well, the part that confused me was like I'm pretty sure I ate like like the day before yesterday. I'm pretty sure I ate a good amount of food that day. And then yesterday, I just like I woke up and my stomach felt completely empty. Like it was growling at me. Like it wasn't even growling. It was just like empty.
It was doing things that you relate to being empty, but what it was
Yes.
doing was it was wrenching, which
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean empty if what you've got is a stomach virus.
Right. That could be true too. So, but
Well,
I didn't throw up at all.
my thought is that all of this is about balance.
Mm.
That all of this is
Somewhere along the way, things got off.
well, and about we got to build a pattern that we can live with that repeats, because otherwise you're dedicating time every single week. You're losing time.
Mhm.
The fact that you're rescheduling the same, you're spending time doing the part that should already be done.
Yeah.
Like, okay, when are we going to meet this day? When are we going to meet that day? Blah, blah, blah. Instead of going, okay, we meet on this day, we meet on this day.
Right.
When we do this, this goes out on this platform.
Right.
That once you find a rhythm, it's easier to find balance around it.
Right.
Oh, I want to do a bunch of music at this time. Look, there's actually an opening that I know is there.
Right.
Instead of it's all filled with maybe. If it's all filled with maybe, what ends up happening? Fucking nothing.
Yeah, nothing gets done.
Well, so maybe this could happen, or maybe that. But if part of the problem is getting people to commit, don't get me wrong. But so I think what we're going to focus on a little bit, as far as in finding balance, is we're going to work on some of the other projects that aren't as time sensitive. I love doing things live. I want to endlessly do things live. But stuff like stories and jobs and doing some of the podcast work we've talked about,
Mm-hmm.
we can set up a time to work on it. And it can be a time after kids have left for the day.
I do
after
think,
after my other responsibilities are not here.
I do think tomorrow we should record uh, our music stuff.
That's my plan. It doesn't have to be beyond.
I don't think. Yeah, I just
I'm
to
just
go back
talking.
and listen to it. You know.
Well, it should always be. Wait a minute. First off, it's never supposed to not be recorded. It's always
It's
supposed
always
to be
recorded.
recorded.
Yeah.
The idea was the audio off it would become a podcast called like the Basement Tapes or something, and it's just the idea of the vibe.
Mhm.
Vibe with us.
Yeah.
Come listen to the Basement Tapes.
Yeah.
It's still, and hopefully, as much as I could sit and listen to you and Seth all day long, the idea was that would be a show.
Yeah.
That would be people coming in and you just make noise together.
Right.
It's not defined as we're coming, like maybe we're working on a piece today, maybe we're not. Maybe we're just having a good time, but whatever it is, it's a shared experience. I mean, we've had the most fun when there's 3 or 4 people in here.
Right.
And it ends up just being passed around. And I mean, shoot, there was that one day where there were 5 of us, wasn't there?
There was one day where there was 5.
Because you had Seth, Maya, and Najee.
Mm-hmm.
Najee?
Najee.
Najee.
You had it right the first time.
Najee. Okay. Sorry.
Right.
Because it's a way to focus on the idea that we need more than one voice coming out of the studio. Obviously, based on how much I talk, I love my fucking voice. But some balance. There are some other really, important shows to me that I want to work on. And I don't know how many of them really need to go out as broadcasts in the traditional video sense.
Right.
for a minute. This one I want to keep consistently like this.
Right.
I wouldn't mind if we grew up and got to an hour, but I'm okay with 45 minutes. But if you listen, everything I'm talking about is trying to figure out a way to balance the ideas.
And to keep them like.
Well, exactly. Well, and not feel like any of the pieces are starved.
Yes.
Because part of the problem right now is you feel like the music part is starved.
Well, it's more that like I've let the other pieces that I need to
Become
get
the antagonist.
become start. Yeah, like I've
you built this antagonistic thing.
I've built a weird dichotomy with like what needs to get done and what I want. Because of that, I haven't done what I needed.
Or what you wanted to do.
Or what I wanted to do. Either.
So what you're saying is if what you schedule is a bunch of maybe, nothing happens.
Exactly.
Well, it's the part you don't like, you turn into a rhythm like chopping wood.
Right.
You turn into a rhythm of I'm a don't. And then you get to mark it off and that feels good.
Mm.
It's an accomplishment. And then that way when you go do the other, you get to feel good about it. Like for me, it's if I actually accomplish something, I might feel good about going to play World of Warcraft for an hour. But I can't enjoy it if in the back of my head.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, even when I do music now, it's constantly a thought of, you got other things you need to be doing. Like it's a thought. Trust me. Like it's not just even when you're not there to remind me, it's a thought in my head of, oh, there's other things you need to be doing. So I can't fully enjoy it as much as I when I do try to sit down.
Oh, I get that. Well, those of you out there that know me will admit that this has been my issue since I was forever. I mean, it's been. I have a million ideas. The biggest change, the biggest balance that I've found is I have a purpose now. For 50 years, I did not. I played. For me, it was playing. Not that it was fun. I don't mean that in a ha 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 kind of way, but in the sense that the jobs and stuff I took, there was only X amount of focus because you knew you were just doing that. It wasn't a this is who I am.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff I'm working on now is this is who I am, and that's given me more balance.
Well, the problem is I'm very, very good at completing things when I feel like I like it. When I want to do something, I'm very, very good at like getting it over with and just trudging through it. But like when I have any kind of doubt or any kind of like as soon as a little bit of doubt tinges it,
some stuff, whatever reason you can find, you're just looking for a reason.
No, I'm saying even the smallest reason,
that's what I'm saying,
or the smallest hint of doubt can like make me not want to do it.
But my point is, your brain's actually looking for that piece.
Yes.
Your brain is the one creating the piece that gives you the excuse to not do it.
I believe that.
I do it all the time. I'm not. Please.
Yeah. I'm not even thinking about it as we're blaming each other for this. We're just stating it as it is.
Right. That it's a thing.
It's a thing that happens. Trust me.
But so, I was always considered really smart, but that I never was willing to put any work into it. that may have come up a time or two, but I didn't believe in anything I was doing.
Right.
I had to convince myself selling pizza that at least I was selling food. I had to convince myself delivering things that I was trying to prove something. I always had to find a
reason.
Oh, you got a mind game.
Right.
You know, that there's all the reasons you're doing all those things that have no meaning to you.
Well, the difficulty with anxiety is that it can make you rational things. Just because, like, you have built up this idea that is just in your head and can't really, like, get rid of it. It almost feels like you can't get rid. I mean, I know I can't. I know I have the ability.
You know, when you feel that way, the thing to do is to meditate. And I don't mean that as a kind of work, take 5 or 10 minutes and work on how do I clear my mind.
Mm.
Quit thinking about whatever it is and work on, so I have this skill I'm working on.
Right.
And that's deciding that's not what I want to think about right now.
Mm-hmm.
So when I describe meditation, and this is not a, anyways, when I think of meditation, for me it was always like swimming because I was a swimmer. So that when you're meditating, you've got, your focus, whatever it is, whether it's your breathing, if you have a flame, whatever you're using as a focus.
Right.
And then what you're learning how to do is when other stuff comes in, you're not mad, but it's like swimming. You just put them behind you. And then you reach up and you go, oh, and you put it behind you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like with swimming, you got to build up your chest muscles. Yeah. You got to build up your chest muscles. It's the same way you're building up that ability. And so as much as we work on meditation as let me go take 20 minutes out of the day, which is really good for you, learning how to take 2 minutes out of your day sometimes can be life-changing.
Do you think that
it's learning the rule of the pause.
Do you think meditation can make you more efficient?
I've told you this. Okay, so I had a good buddy, a friend of mine, Paul Schuler. Have I told this story on air? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Okay, so Paul Schuler was a mechanic, and believe it or not, at one point, one thing I did briefly was I was an automotive mechanic. I know, I've done a variety of things. So I tried briefly turning a wrench in the garage.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't great at it. And the story I'm referring to, so first off, Paul Schuler was one of these guys that if the job paid 5 hours, it took him 2.
Okay.
What that means is he still in mechanics, you still get paid for 5 hours. Right. Because the way you get rewarded is based on your knowledge. Right. So if you know a way to do it faster and get the job done right,
you still get paid. It
incentivizes the idea of getting things done quickly.
Gotcha. So you kind of get paid on averages almost, like you get paid on how long.
No, not averages. No average.
Okay.
If it pays 5 hours, it pays 5 hours. So you get paid whatever an hour, and if it takes 2 hours to do, you get paid for 5 hours.
Okay.
Because you get paid by the job, not by how long it really takes.
Right.
But the way you charge is based on, you also go, this is how many hours this should take.
Right.
Anyways.
I got that.
One of the most zen dudes I've ever known.
Mm-hmm.
I remember correctly, his particular flavor was Christian. It wasn't, okay, so people get kind of lost on the idea that Buddhism is a faith or something. Really, it's ways of looking at the world.
Right.
And when I say he was zen, I don't know if he would have thought that, but he definitely, anyways.
Gave off those vibes.
There was one of these days, I'd been beating my head against a job for like 3 or 4 hours. Finally, like, Paul calls me over, and he's eating his tuna. He would always have tuna. Just straight eating out of the can, man. Raw protein. No, I will say this.
I like tuna, but like the smell, I can't get around it. I'm sorry.
Don't get lost.
But yeah.
Don't get lost. Stop. We're trying to tell a story here. Stop.
I'm
not
listening.
Tuna. It's not about the tuna.
I know.
Okay, thank you. Anyways, so he calls me over,
mm-hmm.
and he looks at me and goes, why don't you just back away from it for a minute? You're beating your head against it. You're not giving yourself a chance. And I went and took a break or whatever, and then I went back and it went right together. And he and I were talking after that. He goes, sometimes you're wasting your time because you're not taking a minute to pause. You've already decided you know the right way to do it, and even though it's not working over and over and over again, you keep trying it, and that's all you're doing. You're not stopping long enough to go, that's not working. I should try something else.
Right.
I should do it even just the slightest bit different.
Right.
That what happens is you keep trying to force it.
Right.
And as long as you keep trying to force it, it don't work.
That makes sense.
That you have to, and that's where that meditation pause is what I'm talking about.
Right.
You'll see me, man. I'll close my eyes and sit here and breathe for a minute. And it's not like, so we've both taken these classes. It's returning to your anchor. it's returning to the peace that you've decided is always there.
Right.
And no matter how crazy all this gets, there's still an anchor of calm. But the trick is whether or not you use it.
Right.
Balance. You have to find a time to stop if you're going to find so much time to go. That the natural spot for your consciousness is stop.
How much time do you think is like well, how much time do you think is a good amount of time to dedicate to like
Dalai Lama says 20 minutes a day. That's it. 20 minutes. If you give yourself a good morning start, my mom, bless her practice. I wish I was half that good. But it's why I joke about how we all ought to, if any of us had the meditation practice of Islam, oh my God, 5 times a day, that I have so much respect for all faiths, because there's different, everybody's approached it from a different angle, and I love that. But so much, it's a balance thing again. If all there ever is go, all there is looking this way, and all there is anxiety. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If all there is stop, eventually you're looking that way too much.
Right.
But when there's a natural
mixture of it,
yin yang, however you want it, there's a circle. If you want to go the Zen route, it's gotta feed back, because otherwise you burn out. Not that any of us have seen that and felt a little afraid lately, right?
I've never been good at like the whole pacing yourself thing. Like pacing yourself, what is that? I don't.
Well, but finding the freedom to actually have time.
What do you mean?
That the problem is you end up with no time to do anything.
So you're rushing it.
No, but if you don't, I'm working on this and I'm working on, like, if you don't separate it, if you don't make pauses, really what happens is all day long it's the same list and you never get to it. You're screwing. So little thing I shared with some friends about, some of my Buddhist friends. I suggested, now here's what I want you to do. I want you to look down at your feet. I want you to look right where they are. Okay. I want you to get all your energy up. I want you to get ready with everything you're worth, okay? Now, I want you to put every energy you have and run everywhere you can think of, but I need you to be back in exactly that spot again where those feet are. I've always been here. Why are you running around?
Wait, what? I'm confused.
So why would you put so much energy to get into the place you already are?
Okay.
That we exert so much energy running around that we don't realize we're already living. We don't use the time right here. Even though this is the only place we can actually do anything.
Right.
Instead of being right here, we run 20 other places in the hopes of getting here.
Right.
Why not be here and use that time? I mean, it seems like a lot of scurrying without a lot of payoff. Most of the time. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong, some of it started off with, we were talking balance of scheduling, too.
Right.
And how worthless I am at that. Wow. Which may be noticed by the fact that we lost that subject so quickly.
Okay, balancing schedule and balancing a conversation are both very difficult.
That's what I do. I balance things. I guess that's what I try to find balance in things.
I'm so, like, I don't.
Do you want
balance is
a banana?
Thing for me. I'll be honest.
Do you need a banana?
Huh?
No. He's like,
what? Anyway, balance has always been difficult for me. I don't know why. I go from one extreme to another.
Who's standing in your way?
What do you mean?
Well, who's keeping you from finding better balance?
Myself.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
But I know that it's me that's doing it, but it's
But
still.
it takes an active effort. It's
Yeah.
not going to randomly. You're waiting for it to randomly fall in your lap. It's not going to do that. It's not like.
necessarily.
Oh, now. You'll stay up all night every night, and then get to a night where you've decided you're going to sleep and go, I don't know why, and blame the night. Like, wait a minute. Not a.
No, I get you.
I have similar problems with setting schedules. My point is, though, it's not going to magically happen. You know, and if what you want is to get up or go to bed at a time, you have to set an alarm that you care about.
That's a good point.
That's always been like I have the most irritating alarm on the planet. You know why?
Why?
Because that's its job. I don't want a lullaby. Every 5 minutes I get something that puts me back to sleep. What is the point of that? Oh, I see you are awakening for your day. Hold on, let me play music for you to fall asleep too. I know a million people with those kind of, and you're like, what the?
Yeah.
Harps? Harps are going to wake you up. Harps.
Harps are gonna wake you up. Yeah. Yeah. that's
Harps.
what
Cherubs. That's what's going to do it.
I heard the alarm on my other phone. That one was terrifying.
Good.
I didn't realize that one was so scary.
What is the job of an alarm?
Wake you up.
Well, but alarms in general. To get your attention.
Yeah, that.
An alarm that doesn't do that isn't an alarm. It has failed at its one job.
Look for the most annoying noise, Bet.
Okay,
That's the way.
we joke about this because I notice all alarms. Even harps will wake me up.
Yeah, I have some pretty calming alarms.
Well, but the trick is if you want something to get you up. I mean, you might have an alarm like that for the end of your meditation. That's a good, oh, I've meditated long enough, but if I don't want to stop, I don't have to. Now, if you have an alarm that's get your ass out of bed, it should scream, literally, get your ass out, like, get your ass out of bed. I mean, you would get up. You know what I mean?
What was that? What was that one? I think it was on Mad TV. They were like, it was an alarm that'll smack you or something. Could have been Family Guy or something like that.
I used to have a phone one that would start off real calm and be like, ring. Literally speaking, the
Yeah.
words ring.
Yeah.
Please understand, no, I'm not suggesting the sound ring. This was what the alarm was. It was ring, 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 ring. And then, like, I mean, I'm not going, it would, it always got a laugh on docs. I'd be like, yeah, I think work's falling.
I think
It was because I had it set up for all my,
I need to find that alarm and use it.
there's an angry, it's angry ring, I believe,
angry.
is what that's called. For those of you out there in the world, soon we'll be selling a ringtone. Angry ring.
Yeah, I think I found it. That's funny.
That I am the finder of excellent ringtones. But the funny thing is, then people are like, "Well, why don't you change yours more often?" Because I picked so good the first time. Why would I keep changing
Why would I
it?
change it up? I don't need to.
Well, I used to have the. What did Scooby used to say? Scooby-Doo or something like. Anyways, that was my notification, and I had people that literally for years begged me to get rid of Scooby-Doo. What does it say now? Nope. Now it's Shaggy going, "Hey Scooby, where are you?"
Oh, yeah.
When I got rid of Scooby, I added I took Scooby off and I added Shaggy looking for where Scooby was.
Like Scoops.
I do like Scoobs. Buddy of mine, Drew Scoobs.
Drew Scoops.
Drew Scoobs and Shag. Brett
Shag.
Wood. Holler out. Holler holla holla. Well, no, he does like real comic book work. He's like cool and whatnot.
That's
Stories coming soon. I want to talk to a lot of these
That's
people.
cool.
The reality is getting them up first thing in the morning doesn't work.
Right.
First off, a lot of people have jobs.
Right.
If we're scheduling afternoons where we now will have more time because our days are going to be like hit and we're just trying to core out the 1 hour we need,
Right.
we're going to have to do more late studio work, which is okay. It's a
Right.
focus. It'll be fun.
It won't be.
We'll have a good time.
think
I
it'd be great.
and you know what? Come hell or high water, I'm doing a Universal Songha show no matter who's there. Oh, I know I have other people
Right.
that, you know what I mean? I don't know what's going on, and I'm not trying to preempt other people. I want them there, you know? But I think that we can't just ignore what we're doing. I think they're just busy. No, I agree. We had some sound issues. I'm really looking forward to talking to a variety of people. It's interesting to see how many people I'll need translators for. You know, that, and that's some of the finding balance. That man, my fingers in so many pies. Well, I've kind of opened up the idea of receiving, working on that, and one of the things has been that I've gotten a lot of people reach out to me and go, "Hey, we're interested in what you're doing, or we see what you're doing, or." So I am a member of some now big, I guess, international. This is a men's group
That's
thing
cool.
that's supposed to be supportive and manly. Yeah, I don't know.
Supportive and manly.
I'm not as attached. There's a lot of gender movement stuff going on now, and I mean, don't get me wrong. Back in the day, I was into some gender movement, if you know what I'm saying, ladies. But these days, I'm more along the lines of that's a weird line, but I get it. But I think it's more about mental health. That sometimes they feel it feels more supported to be in a group of people that are of like mind, and I guess in the sense that everybody else divides us by gender, there's some of that. If somebody
I always thought of it as a response to like all of the different mental health needs there are for women. Which is no offense to them because they need that. I think everyone needs I think everyone needs access to mental health and stuff like that. And I also think I part of me thinks
where do you think there's more for women than there are for men?
I don't think that there's more for women. I don't think that there's more for women.
That just sounds like so. No, I've heard stuff like this from
Like-
people, and I'm like, you know that men's groups have been around for a very long time. Don't get me wrong, though. There's a whole red pill, blue pill, incel thing going on. I don't think of those as men's groups. I think of those as toxic. And I'll be waiting to. Why? Because when it becomes just a horde of men talking about how they have it bad because of women, that's worthless. That's not real. I'm a victim. That's not reality.
I don't think all of it is that.
I didn't say
There's
all
a lot
it is
of that going on. There's a lot.
I
of that
said,
going on, trust me.
well, no, I think the second you start talking about pills, okay, that's always been a lie. The world doesn't work like that. Okay, you're not woke because you think you took the right pill. You're less woke because you're thinking that's how it works.
Right.
If that makes sense in my head, because that does that same thing I was just talking about, where it cuts people down into groups, and I'm like, humans don't work that way. Nobody's one thing. Nobody's a single note.
That's true.
You know,
That's very true.
so I mean, the second you start evaluating people by that single note, you don't hear the rest of their symphony. I got 3 words.
I think identifying people like I think if you want to identify yourself as like with something, that's cool for you. But I don't think everybody should do that. I don't know.
Well, it depends on whether it's judgment based about somebody else. So if you start a men's group because you've decided women are bad, or if you start a women's group because you've decided men are bad, that's bad.
Yes.
That if, on the other hand, you start a group going, hey, we need to be able to feel supported in a way that's a little less judgmental and non-gendered. So in other words, that I understand. I think of that more like therapeutic groups. But it depends on whether or not there's an undertone. If the undertone is, hey, we've all got it rough because, I understand the focus. I'm not saying there's a dishonesty to that. I'm just saying I don't think that's where you necessarily will find solutions.
I have a bit of a different perspective on it, mostly because I grew up going to a men's camp.
Mm-hmm.
It was men and boys, and we'd go camping for a week. And the week before, the girls would go camping.
Right, no, I get that.
So
Okay,
it was the girls would go camping for a week, then we would go camping for a week. 6 months later, we would all hang out for the reunion.
in my head, that all depends on how the
And,
rhetoric was during.
Well, the rhetoric the whole time was, we need to respect each other. We need to
That's different.
uplift
Okay,
each other. And
but
stuff
that's
like
not
that.
red pill, blue pill.
No, it's
I
not
su-
red pill.
I fully
it's not
sup-
red
no.
pill, blue pill. No,
I fully
but-
support that.
yes.
I don't support the part where they go, I'm a victim because, or my favorite is I'm not a victim, I just know more. And that's why I'm just pointing out that I would be a victim if I didn't know all this stuff about how women try and get us.
Well, no,
That's such bullshit.
I don't like that there are people that try to. I don't like that there are people that try to divide people out, like, oh, women are like this or men are like this. I don't like when people make pejorative statements.
Yeah.
And I don't like when people do stuff like that. I do, however, like when people are like, we need to be more positive about ourselves, and like when
I totally see. I believe in support it.
yes,
That's why. See,
yes.
and in your that's why I was trying to make sure you saw the differentiation I was making. That no, I think there's all kinds of camps like that are well run.
I don't want to make women feel bad. I just want to not feel bad for being a man.
Right. For the record, do you know who
Okay.
makes men feel bad about being a man? Not what? Not.
No, I
It's
didn't.
men. It's men. Men are constantly, oh, well, why are you not being more this or more that? Or, you know what you ought to do? You really shouldn't care. Or, oh, I see you're whipped or whatever. Because you care about another human being? It's kind of funny because if you watch, it's very similar. This is not to say there aren't abusive issues between men and women. But if you look inside the cultures, the people that are the crappiest to each other are traditionally the people inside their own group.
Yes.
Name the group. You
No,
know?
men are crappy to men traditionally. Women are crappy
Well,
to
no,
women traditionally.
I'm pointing out that pick other groups.
Black people are crappy to black people.
White people.
Black
Man, you're
people
not.
are crappy to white people. Like,
It's
it works
constant-
across all
There's
lines.
there's a weird judgment, and
I
then
get what
right,
you're saying.
it gets more extreme when then you cross into other. Then you start judging other people. But-
Obviously, there's some crossover with like certain groups are crappy to certain groups, but like I think a lot of what we do to each other is trying to find differences, as opposed to trying to figure out what we all like. What do we have in common? What?
Where do we balance out?
Yes.
See, my theory
Yes.
is, so if you ever seen like a three-dimensional balance? So it's a round disc
Yeah.
on something in the middle. So literally everything has. My theory is, if you took everybody out and spread them by all the different things they could possibly be, that platter would sit perfect.
Yeah. Balance out. Makes sense.
And so why worry about the why spend so much time? But so our goal for the week
Goals.
and through the end of this month is we're gonna pull back for a little balance. You're gonna see the daytime show, and we're hoping to start putting out a few more podcasts with some specific directions. It's that we got to figure out a way to balance it in a way that it happens.
Right.
If it's not happening, it's just wasting time. So in other words, we block out a thing that never happens. That time never got used. So what we want to do is actively move it in a direction that kind of changes that. A little more balance. A balance in everything. Balance, and
Balancing
lots
act.
more balance.
Hopefully.
Oh, yeah. Bro, I'm trying to carry it, but man, even by the end, I am so exhausted. Nothing against you, brother, but I am so tired by the end of it all.